have a very special guest, good friend of mine. Probably known Grady now for it's been 2.5, 3 years. So this is as long as he's been in the industry, I've known about him. And the cool thing about Grady is you don't have to, I'd say good friend, but I know him through his work. I know him through him being on leaderboards, being on trainings, being at sales events. Just I know him through doing what he teaches and doing exactly what it is that has his business running close to, I think he just hit $1 million issue paid in a week. You know what I mean? It's like every month and week they're growing and growing and growing, man. So I'm very honored to have him on, and I want to take the next 15, 20, 25 minutes, man, and just really dig in to not only, why you're growing, but how you're growing, okay? And not only just hiring and contracting and recruiting agents, but there's one thing to contract, but there's another thing to get those agents productive. And I think there's a ton of agents who we're growing at a rapid speed, but we don't want to get lost behind and going, well, we got them contracted, but they ain't selling nothing. And you don't, and maybe you have, and you saw it early on, but there's a very systematic approach to that. Everybody has a great opportunity and that they're not left behind, man. So I love what you got going on. And I really just let's get right into it, man. You good with that?
100%, man. 100%.
Right.
So, well, Dom, I appreciate you having me on. It's an honor to be on here speaking with your team. I've been a fan of many of them, Conrad, to you, to what was her name? Who Sean forgot the award a couple of years ago? Paige. I love Paige too. She's always so positive and happy. And so it's an honor for me to be able to spend a few minutes here with you guys and your new growing agency and new growing agents. And I'd open with this and say, guys, that wherever you are, someone's been there, and whatever you're going through, someone's gone through, and whatever you're fighting through, someone else has fought through, and you can fight through it too. It's about looking internally, this business is far more mental than it is physical, right? There's no, getting some paper cuts here, getting some carpal tunnel for dialing. Those are external issues that you'll run into. But the mental game of deciding if you're going to keep dialing the phone after you just swipe the card for $1,000 and the first 7 leads you call tell you, I didn't fill that out, you have the wrong number, and stop calling me. Are you going to dial the 8th lead? And that's the mental game that I think that for many of us as new agents need to look at internally and decide that there's been thousands of other people that are having success here that have decided to dial that 8th lead. And if I dial that 8th lead too, then I can have success just like all these other people at the top of the leaderboard. And so what I would say in just open and then some specific questions maybe would be more appropriate, Don, but is that for all of you guys who are embarking on a new adventure, a new entrepreneurship venture, a new business venture, and that's the big thing too, that we look at this and it's like, hey, let's go sell insurance. It's like, hey, no, let's start an amazing business. Let's start an amazing business where you can employ staff and you can have great tax deductions and you can make money at will and you can teach others to make money at will. The value that can give to you, your community, your family, new people in your life that maybe you've never had a chance to spend time with or never got to know or never got to surround yourself with other great people. It will fill you up and validate you almost as much as the money will. And so I'd advise you guys all that is if you're here to be here, be here a year from now, be here 90 days from now. Heck, just be here in 60, 90 days and see yourself through this early process. Because as a new agent, the thing that will get you down more than anything will be mental. It'll be doubt. It'll be seeking opinions of people who are not successful here. It'll be seeking people's opinions who've never been in our company. And that's the thing that will eat you alive and will keep you from achieving exactly what you want to achieve. So I think maybe what a more appropriate question, Dom, you said you wanted me to talk about the specifics of a new agent in selling or the specifics of new agent in hiring or a combination of both or anyone you want me to lead with?
You know what? Let's start with the new agent. How to get paid fast, okay? Sure. If I'm the agent, put me in the agent shoes. What do I need to be doing? And put me in the new manager's shoes of what do I need to be doing to help them as well. So give us both sides of that, if you want.
So as a manager, this is probably the most important thing. The manager is just leading by example. We can say that line and you can see it on a quote or you can see it on a list or a checklist or you can hear me say it. But what does that truly mean? What leading by example is being on dial teams on Mondays and Thursdays. Leading by example is posting lead orders that you've made, showing publicly that you're investing in your business. Leading by example is posting your sales as they come. Leading by example is selling. right? I've got a, you get this group of little crickets that like to, work their way in every once in a while and go, you know what, Dom, I want to build a massive agency and get an integrity deal, and I'm not going to sell any insurance. Have you ever sold insurance? No, but I'm a good recruiter. Okay, what's your background in recruiting? Well, I've never really done it, but I thought I could be good at it. So you want to come into our amazing business, not sell, try to teach people how to sell and become and get an integrity deal. Good luck. Not that I don't want you to come in here and recruit, but what I want you more so is to understand that there's a process of success here that starts at the baseline of selling and being a good example to others. So for you as a manager, one of the most important things that you can be doing is that number one thing, which would be selling by example. Now, focusing on your new agent, the thing that I see people go out and run is they buy leads, right? So if you're a manager, it's figuring out a way where you can work tactfully with someone and get them to invest in leads. And when they say, well, what's your budget? I got a couple $100. Okay, well, how much can you invest? And I'm very tactful on using the word invest versus spend or buy or purchase, right? This is their business, right? If they want to join our amazing insurance company and our amazing insurance opportunity, if they want to join Family First Life, they have to understand that the business, that this is a business. And from putting that in a business standpoint, there's going to be early onset costs. They're marginal in the grand scheme of things. They're nominal, right? A good McDonald's franchise on a busy corner is like almost $2 million. So $1,000 for a batch of leads of clients that have requested coverage and asking for our help is a drop in the bucket on the grand scheme of things, especially on our upside versus that $2 million investment, right? It's going to take a decade to get the money back out of that business. It's going to take one sale to get your $1,000 back. So that from an agent standpoint would be getting agents to buy leads, be challenging them to buy leads. And I use lead purchase urgency. There's a lead sale right now. Oh, these leads, these 3-month final expense mailers, people are crushing it on these. Oh, Game Time Mortgage just came out. You got to get Game Time Mortgage. They're incredible. Oh my gosh, did you hear about these new 1-month-old instant internet leads? They're $4. Get in there right now, grab every single one. I heard someone just made had a $10,000 week off those leads. And so I create urgency about it, like a fear of loss. Don't miss out. These leads are hot. I've heard these are the secret leads, right? And not that I'm saying anything like that, but the words that are coming out is creating urgency. So for you as a new agent, if someone else is across the company or across the country or even in your home state is having success with any specific lead type, you will probably have success with it too. And it isn't geographically specific. It's any lead type. Like, let me back up. It's all leads. But for you as a new agent, it's understanding that I must invest a little. I have to put some out there. And so sometimes an agent, well, I bought a bunch of leads and I haven't had success. Well, let's be honest with ourselves. How much did you truly dial those leads? Did you door knock them? Did you dial them with efficiency? And the number one dial efficiency trainer is on this call with me wearing a red hat. So if you want to talk about dialing efficiency, it's, dial 3 times, go through your batch. I could do the Dom Rogers dialing training because I've seen it so many times, but get your batch of 20, pound through it 3 times, get a new batch of 20, pound through that 3 times, go back to the first batch of 20, pound through that 3 times, you just go back and forth and you're running through it. And that's dialing efficiency. So when agents tell me, and it's really being honest with yourself as a new agent and going, I didn't really knock out 300 dials on that dial day. I dialed for 40 minutes, then made a sandwich, and then I had some laundry to do, and then the car needed to be washed because my wife likes a clean car. So I had to go run the car to the car wash, but I'm an entrepreneur, and so I can do what I want. And then I met a buddy, I had to pick up the laundry, or I had to go pick up the kids at school, and then I got back on at 4. But then there was Sean Mike was on Facebook Live, so Dom, I had to watch that Sean Mike Facebook Live. And then another one popped up from 2 days ago, and that one was really good. It was only 16 minutes, and now it's 6 o'clock. And you dialed 40 dials this morning. And so it's really kind of getting yourself in a position where you understand that the money that you're investing is money that it's yours alone to harvest, right? It's yours alone to reap the bounty out of that investment. And they are families that are requesting coverage. Some of them are older leads. That's okay. They requested it at some point. They wanted help at some point. And if the lead is still in the CRM, it has not been resolved. That's a big thing to understand. If it's still in the CRM, it's an unresolved lead because every time you make a sale, you take the lead ID and you email leads at Family First Life and they pull it out. Maybe a lot of you guys didn't know that's a very simple way to get the leads from being sold on month 2 and month 4 is you just take that lead ID and you send it off to corporate and say, hey, I sold this client. And they say, thank you, and delete it out, because they don't want the clients being resold or having people call them back up. They want to keep the business good business. So for you as a new agent, the number one thing would be investing a good amount of leads and dialing with certainty, because as Matt Smith has taught us a decade ago, that 80% of this business is the phones. It's the mental game and challenge of dialing the phone and then getting good at overcoming objections on the phone. 15% is in-home and 5% is product knowledge. And I love that and make the simplicity of that, because if without appointments, you're not going to get in the home. So for you guys as a new agent, that would be my number one suggestion, is to get an uncomfortable amount of money invested. People blow money on all kinds of crap, whether it's crap. Just people spend money on, you spend more money on bad meals and you're in the past year than you have willing to invest in your business. And if that's an issue, then we must look at it from a different light and go, how much can I invest? So that would be my number one focus, guys. From a manager standpoint, sell at a high level, create urgency around lead sales and leads. Like when there's a lead sale, we're 2 and 3xing lead purchases on our team, because we act like it's never, ever going to happen again. And it doesn't happen that often. It's not a common thing. Dom, there was like 6.5 years where we never got a coupon. Right? Ever. And now the integrity comes in and the company's doing fantastic. So they've got more room at the top to help people out. Don't take this for granted. It can go away at any time. So we create urgency around that, and urgency on specific lead types. And then from an agent standpoint, it's getting an uncomfortable amount of money invested to put yourself in a position where you've got plenty of people to dial.
I love it, man. Caveat with that, how to prepare for the field. You said 80% phone, about 5% product knowledge. I know when I started, it was the complete opposite in my mind. Okay.
Yeah.
But how do I prepare for the field with that type of mindset?
Okay. Preparing for the field, like for your first appointment.
Correct.
Okay. So, for your first appointment, do you need every carrier? No. I got agents that are like, hey, I don't have Global Atlantic yet. I can't buy leads. I'm like, do you even know what an IUL stands for? No, I don't, but I saw in a video that it's important. Okay. It's not that important today. At some point down the road, we'll get you all teed up on advanced market products, but getting Athene and Global Atlantic and Guggenheim and all these carriers that you've never heard of and you don't need right now is not a necessity. Get your Americo, get your Prosperity, you can get your AMM pretty quick. Aetna's coming in pretty quick. Get 3, 4, 5 carriers and you're ready to go. Like it's, I remember when Julius first started, he went out and wrote like 10 paper apps, screwed them all up, and we had to start from scratch. But he was so hungry to go out and be able to produce and make money for his family that whatever shot he had to take to figure it out, he figured it out, right? So for you guys, is the hunger burning within you to solve your financial problems high, or is it just lukewarm? Is the pot not even on the stove yet, right? So in that mindset, it's do you need every single carrier to go buy your first batch of leads? The answer is no. So then preparing for your first appointments, it's getting yourself in a position where you've got a few carriers to offer. Americo, Prosperity comes in super quick. We can get you AMM, Aetna. There's a few in there. AIG will pop in here and there. Like John Hancock comes in quick. Like you don't need them all. Like we've got a bunch. And like the 10 sits you make that you don't have AIG yet for, that you can't close that 10th sale because you don't have AIG yet, they'll still be there in a week when AIG comes in, right? They're not going anywhere. You built rapport, you built a relationship, got to the point where it turns out this client's only going to qualify for AIG. Guess what, John? I'm just working on getting some new contracts right now. It's for a specific case exactly for yours. And let me bring you back in a week or so, as soon as it comes in, and I'll be happy to take care of you and Betty. You know what? Thanks very much, Dom. I appreciate that. Thank you for coming back, for being able to do that. Like, as we elevate our professionalism and elevate our communication skills inside the home, it puts us in a position where the respect goes higher, right? If you walk in the home and you're nervous and you're freaking out and you don't know what to say, like act as if you know everything already. And if you don't, guess what? Pick up the phone and call your manager and say, hey man, I'm sitting in the home with John and Betty right now, and looks like they've got X, Y, and Z medications, X, Y, Z conditions. What do you think the best situation for them would be? Let's give you AIG. Okay, I don't have that carrier yet. Okay, tell them you don't have, you're working on getting some new carrier contracts. And as soon as they come in to help their and solve their specific situation, you'll come back in a week or two. And you say, like, so let's act as if, right? But then that was 1 of 10. So if we got the other 9, we made some money, protected some families, and John and Betty are waiting there for a week. So how do we prepare for the field? We get in the field as fast as possible. We get in the field as fast as possible, because if you can book the appointments, you can go sit in the home, build a relationship. That's usually the hardest part, is getting to the table. That's like, we don't talk about that enough. The hardest part is just getting to the table. As soon as you're at the table, it's pretty much a sale. In some capacity, you can throw down Moo accidental, Forrester's accidental just came around, AIG, you're going to get in a week, right? And then we've got our every other great carrier that we can put in place as well, because there's always something we can put in place for this family. So if we just focus on getting the table, and you get to the point where they're like, yeah, you know what, I really like to get something, Grady. Okay, perfect. And if you call your manager, you don't have it just yet. We're talking about week 1. We're not talking about month 3, right? So if you're at month 3 and you're not running full throttle 25, 30 appointments, you got to check, take a look in the mirror and decide if this is something you really want to do. Because the numbers that our top producers put up and our middle producers put up now are more than, the numbers of our middle producers is nearly double, if not triple, the income of average in America. Like, and so to have that perspective and go, if I'm just average at this, I'm gonna make twice as much as most people make in America. If I'm really good at this, I can change my family's future forever. So how to get prepared for the field is just, I mean, the short, quick answer is go, right? Is go. But the mental preparedness answer, do you need business cards? Do you need a lanyard? No. What you really need is an iPad. You got an iPad, go to Best Buy, get yourself an iPad, a keyboard. You can order off Amazon. Best yet, go to Craigslist. They've been making, there's like 2 million iPads out there. No, I apologize. I saw something, there's like 2 billion Apple devices in the world now. That's a lot on Craigslist and Upwork, or not Upwork, OfferUp. Like, go get a used one. If you're tight on cash early on, do you need the $1,000 iPad with, like, you get these agents, they come in the office, they're so proud of their like $1,500 iPad they bought, yet they haven't bought leads yet. How about we buy a $300 iPad mini, a bag from Ross, and a folder from Staples, or go to Safeway, go to the grocery store and get the cheap stuff. Because guess what? The client doesn't care. All the client cares about is that you care and you can answer the questions or call someone that can answer the questions. This isn't about how fancy or pretty or professional, sure, but how elevated, I got these agents like, well, I got to get these shoes from Nordstrom's. I'm like, why? Why do you need Nordstrom shoes to go sell clients? Well, they make me feel better. Okay, well, why don't you get those if you hit your first 100 appointments? Let's set small incremental goals. My first goal, Dom, you're gonna laugh, was to get, when I first got an agent going, got my first override, was to get an iPhone for my business phone. Because I was so broke starting that I had to go to Verizon and I could only add the $10, because I added a second line, I could only add I might even have it around here somewhere, the second line with the free Android. And I dialed every single dial by hand. This is before phone burner, right? Every single dial by hand on an Android. And if you ever heard me train about iPhones versus Androids, you'll know I loathe Androids. And that was my first goal. And I said to myself, as soon as you get that first person going and you make it was a $13 override. I was on my way to Verizon and got myself a new, it wasn't even the new iPhone. It was the oldest one I could, because I was still being a good steward of my money. So that's the thing, guys. As a new agent, just get out there. If you're a good person and you care about people, you're going to mess up a little bit. But if you just show that you care and you're genuinely there to help them and not try to put them in a bad position. If you're a good person, and most people that make it to the table, it's too hard to be a bad person and push all the way to the table, right? You're going to screw it. Your arrogance is going to screw it up on the phone. Your attitude's going to screw it up at the door. You're going to have some issues before you sit down. But if you genuinely care and you're here to help people, and you understand that the correlation of how many people you help is how much money you're going to make, you will find this thin line in between here, and you will tiptoe across it like an expert. And that's really where the secret is how much can you invest? How fast can you get out in the field? How many people can you go see? How many times can you get to the table, right? We should start tracking that. How many tables did we sit at? That would be a good tracker. And we call it sits, we call it, but that would be my number one thing for you guys, is to get out there as fast as possible. Get a couple carries. Do you need everyone? No. You need a few. Do you need business cards from Vistaprint? Do you need to wait till your order comes in? No. Do you need to go get a lanyard? No. Show up, big smile, lead card. You do need a printer, or you need access to Staples or Robinson has to print out the credibility sheet, so you can just show some professionalism and say, hey, you filled out this information recently, came to my office. I'm the guy who's in charge of showing you the options that you're available to. Is that the kitchen table? Perfect. And start walking over. You're in. That's step one. They're looking for someone to control. That's a tip thing that I think people don't understand. is that when you're dialing, everyone you're talking to has a they in their life. They have a boss. They have someone they're responsible to, right? They got me out here on Saturday. I know, they got me working late. They got me dialing till 9 o'clock. I'm going to lose my job. They are so rough on me, right? So they got a they when you're on the phone. The same thing is when you're sitting in the home, is putting yourself in a position where you understand that this person you're talking to is generally, and this is said with respect, someone who has worked underneath someone their whole life, or generally someone who works in an office environment or a business environment where they respond to a boss. So just like they have a they're also used to be told what to do. They're used to be being instructed. All right, perfect, John. Okay, perfect. I need to head over to the table right there. Or can you go grab me your driver's license? All right, go grab me your driver's license and avoid a check, right? The client is used to being told what to do or being directed. They feel comfort in your strength and it will take you time to develop. But the sooner you get to a point where you understand you are the doctor and they're the patient sitting on that uncomfortable, funky table with the paper stretched across it and that pillow, you wonder if they've ever changed that pillowcase, right? The sooner you realize that you are the doctor and they are the patient sitting there with, hands on knees, looking for instruction, waiting for you, sitting there in your lab coat to guide them through this next few 15, 45 minutes, the sooner you understand that, the sooner you will have, this business will be a walk in the park for you.
I've heard Sean Mike say that statement, and it really rung bells to me. He said, "You're the doctor, they're the patient." When I was struggling, I always have to remember that. Hey, dude, let's get into this. I've heard you say this probably 4 or 5 times as you were going through those key points today, and you said, "Call for help in the home. Call for help in the home." You said it 3 or 4 different times. How do you call in the home? If you're a new agent, how? What scenarios bring that up? How do I set the table? How's that look?
Perfect. So one, you never call speakerphone. That is the first thing. We'll start with that. Speakerphone, so you shouldn't have shown them to begin with. I might be doing a coaching lesson in the middle of before. Hey, I'm showing this person HMS term and they lost their leg to diabetes. John, they're never gonna qualify for a term, right? So if I'm saying that on speaker, how's that gonna make the client feel? Make them feel uncomfortable, make them feel like I'm talking down about them. When you're at, like, I'm trying to create, so there's 2 ways we learn, Dom. One is repetition, second is emotional impact, right? If you're sitting in the home across from John and Betty, and you've been showing John HMS CBO return of premium for the past 30 minutes, talking about the great benefits of mortgage protection, and you're just trying to clarify a question, you call me and I go, hey, what's his health conditions? X, Y, and Z. He has neuropathy. He has diabetes. He's on insulin. Okay, perfect. Any challenge with diet with neuropathy? He lost his leg about 6 months ago. Okay, listen, Tom, he's never going to qualify for a term with neuropathy and diabetes. Yeah, that's going to emotionally impact you because you're going to have just spent all this time trying to sell this product that he's never going to qualify for. So then you're going to know from that minute forward that person will never qualify for that product. And then I'm going to coach you on, okay, so let's back out of this. Let's pivot to something else. So how do you call for help is, 1, you're never on speakerphone. 2 is give as much information as possible, right? Hey, Dom, Grady here. I'm sitting with John and Betty, right? So you're building up the client. Sitting here with John and Betty. They're a final expense appointment. They were looking at some coverage for their family. And they've got 2 little girls. And right now, John doesn't have any health issues. Betty's on a diabetic. And I just wanted to clarify, do you think that they'll qualify for the American Eagle product? Or, Dom, I wanted to know, she's taken metformin. She has taken insulin in the past. Do you see any issues that she would have qualifying for? And so it's as much information as possible that I'm giving to you, but while the client is watching you call. And so what you're going to say as an agent is going to say, perfect. You know what, Dom, or John and Betty, I've got a good idea which direction I want to go. And this is usually like after you've taken the full financial inventory at the bottom of it, right? Before the numbers. Okay, so I got your information perfect. I'm just reviewing this. I got a couple ideas of which direction I'm going to go. I just want to call my senior underwriter and make sure that we're going to put you in the absolute best product. Or I want to call my senior underwriter and just run something by him. All right, I got a really good idea of what I'm going to do right now, what direction we're going to go, right? Or which products you will qualify for. So we and you are words that say, we're in this together, right? So clients want to feel like they're a part of something together. Or you is ownership, right? When I say, Dom, this is the best product you can qualify for, or Dom, you and your family this is really important to you guys, right? Yes, right? My family and this is important to me. When you say you, they take possession on it. It's mental possession, right? You talk about my car, how, your car got totaled. My car got totaled, a car got totaled, right? When you say you, it's possessive, right? So in this situation, right after the financial inventory, before the numbers, you say, okay, perfect. I've got a good idea what direction we're going to go and what the best product you're going to qualify for is at this time. I just want to check in with my officers, run one scenario by them real quick, and just give me a minute. And you can do it right in front of the client. Some agents are like, I'm out in the car in the driveway. I'm like, why did you make it weird and go all the way to the car? Just do it. Just do it. Do it in front of them. Like, could we talk about how come it could be more awkward and create more confusion that you left the house? Just do it from right there. As long as you have your volume down and I'm not on speakerphone, I'm gonna coach you. And you actually, Dom, I'm sure you have fun with this. It's like, okay, say this. Okay, that seems like the best thing that they can get covered for. Yeah, this seems like the best thing they can get covered. And so you can actually coach, as a manager, coach your agents. And as an agent, it's okay to say, hey, manager, what would you say? How would you say that? Right? So sometimes it's like if your manager's not doing a great job of giving you some words. Say, how would you say that? Then they give you some words, just because your manager, your upline, whatever, the person who brought you in here, the person you should be calling is someone who sells more than you also. I would never be calling someone who does not sell, who sells less than you. If they've been here longer than you, or they have a huge team and they have sold at some standpoint, then that's fine to ask them for advice because they know what they're doing. But if the person who brought you in here he's been here about as long as you, and they sell less than you, don't ask them for advice. They can't help you, right? That's why I get on my managers and I say, listen, guys, the people you're hiring are looking to you for guidance and counseling to go pay their bills. If you aren't selling, how are you teaching them how to pay their bills? So coming around full circle to answer this specifically would be give as much information as possible, be respectful as you're asking for the help. They're here to help you, and listen to what they say, and whatever they're saying, don't fight with your manager on the phone, right? Like, no, I think they'll qualify for HMS. They really want, oh, you know what, Dom, I'm sitting with an 83-year-old. They really like the HMS CVO. Have you run the quote tool yet? No, I haven't. Okay, it doesn't go up to 82. All right. So that's the thing too, is it's okay to call for help twice. Hey, I'm sitting with John and Betty. This is their incomes. We just went through this information. This is what I'm showing them. And you call them. And then second time, okay, I just showed them some numbers based on what they would qualify for. They don't think they can get the coverage for this. It's $673 a month. Okay, why don't you show them $180 a month? Why don't you show them 120? So sometimes it's just call multiple times. Let me check with the office one more time. Right? Act like you are this business person whom you are, and you're just checking in with the home office.
What's cool is that you just went from I'm calling for underwriting help to educating folks on, hey, you're calling to get coached. You know what I mean? So don't be on speakerphone. Repeat what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Just like there's a lot of questions you can ask. Sean used to tell me, ask them this. Yeah. He'd hear what they said. I'd ask the question. It was such a great learning tool. Grady, this has been jam-packed, dude, and amazing. We went over so much today. I got a page and a half full of notes. I'm sure everybody on here is just loving this. And dude, I appreciate everything that you are doing for the company and have done. And 2021 is just, God, if 2020 was good, 2021 is gooder. I'll tell you that, because Amen, it's about to get crazy, brother. So I appreciate you for being on, man.